Do you need a recipe for gluten-free, good old buttery yeast dinner rolls? I've got you covered. Welcome to Meet You in Poppy's Kitchen. Today is Poppy's birthday. We're going to have the kids and grandkids over, having a big meal of some of his favorite things. And when you cook a meal for a man, doesn't he need some big old buttery rolls for dinner? I think he does. And Poppy just got diagnosed with celiac, so he's gluten-free. So we're gonna try this gluten-free recipe for dinner rolls. Don't let yeast and gluten-free scare you off. This looks like an easy recipe, and I'll show you exactly how we're gonna do it. So far in the mixing bowl, I have 3 cups of gluten-free flour, a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of instant yeast. That's the rapid rise instant yeast. And then I have 2 tablespoons of sugar, and I already said salt. Okay, so I've got that just stirred it up together. Then we are heating the 1 1/4 cup of milk, and I'll have the recipe linked to the bottom of this, but 1 1/4 cup milk, we're gonna heat it up. And it's gonna get warm, and you can't let it get hot and then pour it on the yeast because it'll kill the yeast. So it says 115 degrees Fahrenheit. I have never measured, but just because she says about 115, I'm just gonna measure today. So I've got the milk in here. Once it gets warm, I'm going to pour that in here, and then you also add the eggs, 2 eggs. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add that while it's warming up. No, I probably shouldn't, should I? Okay, so we're gonna let this warm up, and I'll be measuring to see 115 degrees. But again, if you don't have a little thermometer, just get it warm, not hot. I've always said the temperature of the water that you would use to put an infant in. You don't want to put them in hot water, but you don't want it to be cold, just right in the middle where it's good and warm. And then once we get that warmed up, we'll pour that in. We'll add 2 eggs, and let me see how much apple cider vinegar. A teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, and then 1/4 cup of softened butter. I'm gonna mix it in my stand mixer with a dough hook. She said you don't have to have a dough hook, but it makes it smoother. So that's what I'm gonna do. So let's see. Oh, it's starting to get warm. Okay, 113, 114, 115. Again, like for me, just you can easily put your finger in there. It's not gonna burn you. So that's how you can test it. So I'm gonna put that in there. Then I'm adding 2 eggs, which I actually already dumped in there. A teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And we're gonna mix that up with the dough hook. Let me see how much she says. It says just mix until fully combined. Okay, so I'm gonna be doing that. I've already sprayed a 9x13 pan, and this is good and combined. We're gonna scoop it out with a scoop, and she says to spray it so that the dough doesn't stick to it, and put it on the pan, and then we're gonna cover it with a towel and let it rise for an hour, and then you cook it. So it's no big deal. This is so easy. Okay, that's not quite combined. Let me scrape down the sides a little bit. But you see how easy this is. I know that a lot of people get scared because you're doing this from scratch, but if you only knew how easy sometimes that from scratch is and how much better it makes everything, I think more people would try things. So I did have to scrape the sides and the bottom. This dough hook doesn't quite get it all mixed as much as a regular paddle does. Okay, so that looks good. So spraying the cookie scoop, using an ice cream scoop, place the dough balls into the pans. Okay. So I guess I'm just gonna get an even scoop. Each one. Let's see how many this makes. Sure, it makes 12. Doesn't so good. It smells like yeast rolls, which is what it is. It just happens to be gluten-free yeast rolls. Which that is, to me, the hardest thing about being gluten-free is the bread. Because it's just hard to find good bread that's not dry. So we'll slather enough butter on this that it's for sure not going to be dry. Kind of made 11 regular size and one like mini roll. So the trick about letting things rise, if you haven't done this before, is you heat your oven up to 200 degrees, then you turn it off because you have to let it rise in a warm place, and you cover it with a towel, and it gets it just warm enough that it gives it a good rise. So we're going to do that, and we'll be back in an hour. Okay, the rolls are out of the oven. They smell so good. Just like yeast rolls. Yum. Okay, and they don't look anything like the picture did, but ask me if I care. They smell delicious. They look like they're going to be delicious. Let's cover them with some good old melted butter. Slather these things in melted butter, and then it's still a good ways before dinner. So I'll separate these when it gets closer to dinner and put them just on a little baking sheet and warm them up before I serve them. And that way I've got it out of the way. I don't have to worry about having them timed perfectly with everything else. Oh, they smell so good. Okay, I'm gonna just have to take a bite. Hold on. Just so I can tell you if they're as good as they smell. I don't know if you can see the steam, but I'm not taking a bite quite just yet. That's so delicious. And I'm so excited. Every time I find a great gluten-free recipe, it just makes my heart happy. You saw how easy that was. And it's delicious, and it's going to go perfectly with the rest of the meal. We're having hot honey feta chicken and some of Poppy's favorite green beans, and we're going to try Granny's baked macaroni and cheese. We're going to do it gluten-free. See if that works. And then these rolls, and then we're going to have gluten-free caramel cake. We're going to have regular peach cobbler because the rest of my family is not gluten-free, and then some homemade ice cream. So this is going to be a birthday meal to remember, and most of it is gluten-free, and that just makes me happy that I have found some really good gluten-free recipes. All right, I'll be back, and I'll link all of those videos for the other things down at the bottom of this. But we'll be back. I'll show you a picture of all of the dinner put together.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. May all your wishes come true. Happy, 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 happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.